Today's Japanese slang term is eakome, which is an air comment. Now, the meaning of this term is going to depend greatly on one major factor, which is when you're saying it. As in, if you're saying it now, or if you're saying it about a decade or so in the past. Because originally, eakome referred to a comment that was made by somebody who was under what in English we would call a shadow ban. In other words, a comment that was posted, but then I guess dissipated like air because no one else could see it. And indeed was often deleted after the person was tricked into thinking that they made the comment. You can see an example that's pretty clear here, as the person specifically says that they received an air comment ban, and that they will stop their arashi behavior, which, if you're not familiar, arashi is the Japanese slang term for this ban. Heyo, no, it's the Japanese slang term for a troll. And this original meaning has existed since at least 2010, as you can see in this comment here, where some poor person thinks that their comments disappearing are a bug of the website, only to be responded to by somebody noting that air comments are not a consequence of the website not working properly, but rather something else. And I couldn't find any earlier uses of eakome before 2010 on Google or anything like that, so it might have been something that was developed around this time. More recently, though, you're probably going to see eakome online to refer to a phenomenon related to live streaming. Not because they're pretending to eat kome or something like that, but rather responding to a comment that does not actually exist, usually one that is considered complimentary. What's that? That was an excellent explanation. Thank you, user569. I really appreciate that. Anyway, we can see an example of this kind of description in action where a VTuber here, who goes by the name of Fucho, or at least the shortening, talks about how they were responding to a vulgar comment somebody made, and then the comment got deleted by the automod, so it looked like they were talking to themselves or just saying the vulgar comment out loud. The person replies by kind of humorously countering with the thesis that the live streamer instead just read an air comment out and then laughed about it. That is, that there was no comment at all and they were just saying stuff and then laughing. Here's a similar example where you can see the link again to this kind of community, this time in the VTuber space. VTubers, of course, being a type of live streamer, and I'm far too old and boring to understand exactly what's going on, but basically there is a VTuber that is known for doing air comments on occasion, and they've developed a relationship with somebody named 35p, and basically what happens is whenever this VTuber gets an actual positive comment and reads it out loud, the 35p person accuses them of it being an air comment. In the description, it's described like kind of a manzai pattern, with the whole joke kind of being, oh, you didn't actually get complimented, it's just something that you made up. Or as an even simpler example, here's someone that says they get told they sound like a VTuber when they do voice chat in a video game, and a person responds that, to build on that, they should just start reading out air comments. And that's basically it. It's pretty simple this time, but I should state that in looking up data on eakome, I did find some uses that I couldn't really describe. And indeed, Google gave me an AI description, which actually defined eakome as a synonym for what is known as a-ren't, or basically what we would say is like subtweeting, talking about somebody or talking about a conversation online without actually referencing them, quoting them, linking to them, etc. Now, a-ren't is absolutely a term, but there's no question that Google's AI here is just kind of making things up generally. The two definitions I've given you of eakome so far are absolutely way dominant. In my opinion, this is an AI kome. In other words, crap. However, there are people on Twitter posting text and then putting eakome in parentheses next to it, and I don't know if that's them responding to something that doesn't exist, like they're just having a monologue, or if they actually are subtweeting. In scanning the data, I have to say I found a lot of things that were pretty confusing. So there may be other forms of eakome out there, but in general, if you see this term online, it's going to be referring to one of the two main ones, with the fake comment being read aloud by a live streamer being the one that's prominent right now due to, well, live streaming being much more popular right now than, of course, websites that use shadow ban functionality. Kind of amusingly, though, I guess regardless of definition, an eakome results in a comment that no one really gets to see. So if you can't find the post on this video saying how amazing it is, that's why.